Hello, everybody. Hi. It is, Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. I am just getting started with the live video right now. Hold on for just 1 second. All right. I am Chef Val, and I'm coming to you from the beautiful state of Michigan. And today we had a kind of a chilly day. It was only about 60 degrees, but the sun was shining, so that was amazing. So if anybody's tuned in, go ahead and say hello and let me know where you live and where you're tuned in from. I see Donna. How do you start the video? So I was a little bit late starting the video, and I do apologize. So hopefully Donna hung in and she's with me now. And so anytime during the live, while I'm chatting with you and while I'm making the cookies with you, go ahead and ask questions. You can put questions in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or you're on YouTube. You can also make comments like, I'm going to use some organic oat flour. You could tell me what your favorite type of whole grain flour is or anything like that. That's the whole reason why we go live, so we can interact with people and talk to people and answer questions and see what's going on. So I am Chef Val. My business name is Macro Val. So my website is macroval.com. I have been in business for 27 years, teaching healthy, organic, whole foods cooking classes. I'm also vegan, and my background is in macrobiotic cooking, which means I incorporate the energy of the food. I incorporate the organs in your body that the food feeds and nurtures. A lot of wonderful information about how you can start living a healthy lifestyle, feel great, overcome health challenges that you might have lots of energy from the healthy whole foods that you are eating. So I am going to make a cookie with you today. I'm going to teach you how to make it. And it is a fig pumpkin oat breakfast cookie. Okay. So I adore figs. They're one of my favorite flavorings for cookies and cakes and things like that. I'm going to use some organic dry figs. All the ingredients I'm using are organic. I don't sometimes say organic, and in my recipes, I don't always put organic before each ingredient because that would be redundant. So just know that I do advocate and use all organic ingredients whenever possible. All right. This recipe is also my recipe of the month on my website. So have you been to my website? Let me share screen right here. And I can show you my website, macroval.com. This was a recent grilling cooking class that I did. This is a picture here. But here's all my cooking classes. And look over here on the right, it says recipe of the month. Let's click on that. Fig Pumpkin Oat Breakfast Cookie. There's a picture of the cookies, which I'll be showing you later on. So if you want to follow along with the recipe during the video, here is where the recipe is typed out and ready for you on macroval.com. Okay. All right. Now I need to stop screen sharing. Hold on. All right. Awesome. So this cookie is a very interesting cookie because I created an apricot oat cookie a long time ago, probably 15 years ago. And my students and my customers, because I have a booth at the local farmers market, would buy these cookies and they would come back and they would tell me they were eating these cookies for breakfast. And I was like, well, that's fantastic because they have rolled oats, which is high in fiber. They're not too sweet. They do have a little bit of sweetness, but they're full of calcium and iron and potassium and wonderful healthy things. And they're having this cookie for breakfast. So I named the cookie breakfast cookie. That was the apricot oat breakfast cookie. I've been making it for a long, long time. Now, sometimes I switch out the dried figs for the dried apricots, and you can do that in this recipe. You can use dried apricots. But because it's late summer, fall time, and one of the signature vegetables of this time is pumpkin, which I adore. I love pumpkins. And so I thought I would make the cookie with the addition of pumpkin in it. And of course, pumpkin is fantastic for your intestines, for your stomach, for your spleen, for your pancreas. Has a natural sweet flavor to it, although it's not usually as sweet as a squash, but sometimes it is. These little pie pumpkins, I get them from the local farmers, and whenever these little pie pumpkins come in season, I buy a bunch of them. I love them. And so how would you work with a pie pumpkin? You would just take the pie pumpkin and cut it in half. I usually take a knife and cut it in half, right there, and then place it flat side down on a cookie sheet and bake it for approximately 1 hour at 350 degrees until a fork goes into the pumpkin very easily. And that means that it's nice and soft and it's done. So then you just take it out of the oven. You can discard the seeds and you can scoop out the flesh and eat some of that flesh because it's absolutely delicious. Then you can use that baked pumpkin for things like this fig pumpkin cookie. You can use it to make your pumpkin pie, your pumpkin bread. You can use it in soups to make a beautiful creamy pumpkin soup. Just all kinds of different ways that you can use the pumpkin, right? So that's what we're going to use today. Although today I am using pumpkin puree from a can. It's organic pumpkin puree. So those are your options. You know, you can use the pie pumpkin if you happen to have baked some, or you can get some organic canned pumpkin. That's wonderful too. You can use either one of those. And so this recipe too, I thought that I had this recipe in one of my cookbooks, the apricot oat breakfast cookie. I have 6 cookbooks, right? But I have thousands of recipes. I've been creating recipes for 27 years. You can't even imagine how many recipes I have. And guess what? The breakfast cookie, I think I was going to put it in the dessert cookbook, but I ran out of space, and so I ixed it. So today, and on my website, is the only place that you can get this recipe currently. All right? Just so you know. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in to the live stream. If you want to just leave a comment, that would be wonderful. Just say hi. Let me know where you're tuned in from. I am in the beautiful state of Michigan. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions too. The whole purpose of going live is to interact with our audience, and you can make comments, you can ask me questions, even if there are questions that don't have to do with the cookie recipe. By all means, go ahead and ask those questions. Go ahead. And also too, if you like this video, if you could hit that like button, of course, that always jacks up the algorithms. Leaving a comment also puts those algorithms higher. And you know how this social media thing works. The more interaction you get in the video, then the more people see it. Okay, so any interaction you want to do, I greatly appreciate it. You can hit the like button, you can leave a comment, you can share the video. I greatly appreciate that too. If you're not watching live, if you're watching the recording of this, do the same thing. I will answer your questions or anything like that, even if it's not live, right? Okay, so let's make the cookies. Let's get started. All right, so you're going to need a food processor. All right. Let's start with 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. Oh, I got a little piece of walnut in there. 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. Hi, Donna. Thank you so much for tuning in. Donna's in Colorado. Thanks for doing this. I will have to jump off early. That's okay, Donna. The recording will be up on my YouTube channel and also on my Facebook. So that's Macroval Food on Facebook. And you are tuned into my YouTube channel, so you know where that is. And if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate that. So we're going to use flaxseed meal. This a lot of people use in their cooking as an egg substitute. And so again, all my recipes are vegan, so I don't use any animal products. And so I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of flaxseed meal. And of course, flaxseed meal is good quality fat from a vegetable source, the type of fat your body needs. Also contains fiber. It also contains amino acids. Flaxseed meal is great for your skin and your hair. And we're going to take a 1/4 cup of water. Now, what I like to do is I like to put the flaxseed meal and the water in the food processor first together, just the 2 of them, and then puree it until it becomes frothy. Now, when I turn the food processor on, you know, I'm not going to be talking or anything because you got the motor going, right? So it's kind of loud. Can you see that? It's hard to, well, you can see the frothiness there? That's what you want with flaxseed meal. And of course, we got flaxseed meal over the side, so I'm going to scrape that down like so. All right, now we have 1.5 cups of chopped organic dried figs. Make sure you get organic dried figs. Now, I know some people have a situation where organic food is a little more expensive, and I get that. But when it comes to dried fruit, it's very important that you get organic because the drying of the fruit concentrates the part of the fruit, like the water comes out and the other part of it is concentrated. So any chemicals that were sprayed on it are concentrated. And also dried fruit, they tend to put sulfur on it if it's not organic. So if it's organic, it's not going to have the sulfur on it. And they use that sulfur so that it looks pretty. Okay. They don't want it to like dried figs become brown, the organic ones. Dried apricots become brown when they're dried. That's just natural. But if you put sulfur on it, then the dried apricots are bright orange. The dried figs are not so dark brown. So they think it looks prettier. But not good for you. You want just organic figs. We have 1.5 cups chopped up. We're going to put those in there like so. All right. We have 1/2 cup of the pumpkin puree. That's going in there also. Let's see. There we go. 1/2 cup of that. We have 2 tablespoons of tahini. Tahini is made from ground sesame seeds, high in calcium and high in iron. This is your good quality fat. This is going to help make the cookie be moist and be rich. Okay. So just 2 tablespoons of the tahini. We'll put that in there like so. And then follow along the recipe. Again, the recipe is on my website, macroval.com. 1/2 cup of brown rice syrup. Yes, I know the bottle says rice nectar, but it is brown rice syrup. This company is Suzanne Specialties, organic rice nectar, brown rice syrup. I have been, again, teaching classes for 27 years. I've been living this lifestyle for 30 years, or I think even longer than 30, but right around 30. And I get asked all the time in almost every cooking class, even if the topic is not desserts, people are always asking me, what can you use instead of sugar? The healthiest sweetener there is brown rice syrup. That's what I tell everybody. My answer has never changed because they take whole organic brown rice and they cook it down. They add some enzymes to help break down the starches, and it just becomes this beautiful, thick, sticky syrup. The sugar that's in brown rice syrup is called maltose, Maltose. Maltose comes from whole grain sweeteners. Maltose will never spike your blood sugar level. Never. Okay? So there's maltose in brown rice syrup. So it never spikes your blood sugar level. Okay? Brown rice syrup is the healthiest sweetener. That's why I choose brown rice syrup. Now, I'm going to do a screen share again. Here it is. So if you have not checked this out yet, I have a Substack blog. Here it is, Substack Valerie Wilson. This was my latest blog that I just wrote on October 7th. Brown rice syrup instead of white sugar and all the rest of the so-called healthy sweeteners. So again, this is a topic I get asked all the time. Hey, this is a dessert, a lemon cake with blueberry sauce that's in my dessert cookbook. Yum. Here's my Simply Healthy Scrumptious Dessert Cookbook. Now, the best natural sweeteners, here we go. Brown rice syrup, as I just explained. Another whole grain sweetener would be barley malt, which is made from the whole grain barley, but I use brown rice syrup. Now, my second favorite is maple syrup. 100% natural, comes from the maple tree. They don't do any extraction process. They don't take anything out of it. They don't use any chemicals. However, maple syrup does have sucrose in it, right? So if you're diabetic, you need to be aware of that. Brown rice syrup, maltose. Won't spike your blood sugar level, okay? Here is pumpkin fudge, another recipe out of my dessert cookbook. I am going to make some of that pumpkin fudge because I just baked one of those pie pumpkins. Woohoo! And this is in the introduction of the dessert cookbook too. All this information here. Sucanac is an unrefined natural cane sugar. I use that occasionally for frostings, not on a regular basis. And especially if I'm trying to serve the general public that wants even sweeter stuff, I use sucanac. So there is some minerals in it, and so it's a little bit better than white refined sugar. Molasses, same thing. Make sure it's black strap and that it's dark in color and organic. Evaporated cane juice or cane sugar. Now, this is getting into a little more sweetness, right? But better than white refined sugar. Date sugar. This is better than sugar, but it does contain sucrose and fructose. Fruit sugar. So that's fruit juice sweetened. Fruit juice metabolizes very quickly. So you need to be careful of that. Honey. I know a lot of people love honey. It's better than white refined sugar. Okay. A lot of vegan people do not use honey because it comes from the bee. It is mainly fructose and sucrose. Okay. Again, brown rice syrup is maltose. Never spikes your blood sugar level. Sucrose and fructose will spike your blood sugar level. Okay. Do not ever use agave. Agave is 70 to 90% fructose, which is higher than high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is about 55% fructose. Agave is 70 to 90% fructose. The human body does not know what to do with a high concentration of fructose, such as agave. It passes through the regular digestive system and gets digested in the liver. I don't know about you, but I want my food digested in my digestive tract, not my liver. And then, of course, we have aspartame and other chemical sweeteners, NutraSweet, Equal. All those are terrible. They are chemicals. The human body was not designed to ingest chemicals, period. Beet sugar, highly refined sugar made from beets. A lot of times the beets are genetically modified. Be leery of that. Coconut sugar is 70 to 80% sucrose, and half of that is fructose. It has the same amount of fructose as table sugar, gram for gram. Coconut sugar is intensely sweet, not a good alternative, okay? There's other fake sweeteners such as saccharin, which is sweet and low. Splenda, all those are terrible. And they're 600 times sweeter than white sugar. When you eat something that is 200, 300, 400, 500, 6 times sweeter than white refined sugar, that messes up your taste buds and you can't really properly taste food after that. You think that everything is not sweet enough because you're used to that intensely sweet craziness. Sorbitol, mannitol, ethanol, xylitol, all those that end in TOL, those are made in a factory. That is a chemical sweetener. Again, the human body was not made to ingest chemicals, period. Corn sweeteners, corn syrup, glucose syrup, high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin, dextrin, all those are some of corn syrup sweeteners. Chemicals, stay away from them. Stevia. Well, wait a minute. I heard stevia was good. It was healthy. If you want to eat the stevia plant, that's fine. But when they refine and process the stevia, they create the white powder that is 200 to 300 times sweeter than white sugar. Again, the human body does not know what to do with something that's that intensely sweet. It gets digested in the liver. Monk fruit. Monk fruit is 200 to 300 times sweeter than white sugar. Same as stevia, same as agave, okay? It gets digested in your liver. Now, there is a difference between monk fruit extract, which is better, okay, but very rarely found. Mostly what people get is monk fruit sweetener, okay? Monk fruit sweetener is more refined, more processed, okay? Not good for you. But again, anything that's 200 to 300 times sweeter than white refined sugar, not a good thing for you to be consuming, okay? Back to Restream. All right, that was my screen sharing. Just wanted to give you that information. Again, that's Substack Valerie Wilson. That's my blog. And I have wonderful other Substacks that I've written about health topics and food and things like that. You can check that out and you can subscribe to my blog, okay? All right, so back to the fig pumpkin oat breakfast cookies, okay? Where were we? Oh, we were talking all about the brown rice syrup, brown rice nectar. So here we go. I have a half a cup. See how it's thick, it's nice and sweet. We're going to put a half a cup of brown rice syrup in the food processor, just like so. All right. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to have to puree that food processor, all right? So this is going to take a couple minutes and it's going to create noise. So just hang on there with me. Just hang on while this purees, okay? And if you haven't so far, while this is pureeing, you can go ahead and leave a comment and let me know where you live, where you're tuned in from, what questions you happen to have. Go ahead and leave a comment. All right, I'm going to put a rag over the top of this because it seems to be splashing out. Here's a cooking tip for you. When you're using a food processor, little things seem to be splashing out. So put a rag over the top, okay? Now the figs are dried fruit and they're kind of chunky. And so you see me holding the food processor because this is not like a smooth puree like if you're making chocolate pudding. It's kind of moving the processor, right? Now, whenever you're using the food processor, right, you have to scrape down the sides at least once. Sometimes I do it twice. You want all that food to go down, go down, go down, go down, like so, okay? And we'll continue to puree. All right, let's check it and see where we're at. Ooh, it's nice and smooth, okay? you've broken up all of those figs, all right? And it's like smooth. It's like a smooth consistency. That's what you want. Awesome. There it is. That's the figs. That's what I call the wet ingredients we've put in the food processor and we've pureed. Okay, that's the wet ingredients. All right. Hey, are you guys hungry for dinner? This is dessert, right? Or it could be eaten as breakfast, as a lot of my students and customers told me they decided this was going to be their breakfast, because even though it's a cookie. I have this fantastic cooking class coming up next Wednesday. The class is virtual. It's through Zoom, which means no matter where you live, you can attend. And I'm going to teach you how to make 2 millet dishes. Have you had millet before? Millet is the signature whole grain of late summer. We actually are in late summer right here. I know a lot of people think it's fall, and it's like late summer moving into fall. Late summer is like that Indian summer where, yeah, it's starting to get cool in the evening, but during the day it still has this wonderful warm temperature. That's called late summer, and that's the earth energy phase in the 5 transformations of energy, which is what I base my cooking around, and I also base my counseling around. And so millet is the signature whole grain. Millet feeds and nurtures your spleen, pancreas, and stomach. Very, very important. Your middle organs that help you deal with stress. So we consider millet our anti-stress grain. In this cooking class, I'm going to teach you 2 millet dishes. All right. So the class is from 6:30 to 8. So it's an hour and a half class. You're going to get step-by-step instructions. I'm going to email you the recipe the day before, because some people like to go and get the ingredients and cook along with me during the virtual class. I'm going to tell you all the health benefits of all the ingredients, why they're so good for you. And we're going to talk about the energy of the food too, and why it's so important. Okay. So the 2 recipes, I made this earlier today. This is one of the recipes I'm going to teach you. And this is what I'm going to have for dinner. Millet and chickpeas with green beans, butternut squash, and a tahini dressing, and other vegetables too. But this one can be eaten either cold, room temperature, or warm. Okay, so it's a transitional time. That's what late summer is, going from hot, hot summer to cool fall and eventually into cold winter. Very transitional time. So we're still eating salads. We're still eating things that are cold, but we're moving into warmer things at this time of year. Now, the other salad I'm going to teach you is a salad with lettuce in it. And so you're going to want to eat that one cold. That also features millet and chickpeas. This one here has a tahini dressing. The other one with the lettuce salad and everything has a vinaigrette dressing with some fresh herbs. All right. So the cooking classes are on the website, and it is next Wednesday. All right, here's the recipe. If you're just tuning in right now, here's the recipe I'm making. It's my recipe of the month on my website. If we go back to the home page, here we go. To attend the cooking class, you go to the cooking class page, scroll down here, Millet Late Summer Cooking Class through Zoom, hour and a half class, millet chickpea lettuce salad with vinaigrette dressing, and the millet chickpea squash warm salad that I just showed you with tahini dressing. And that is next Wednesday. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I have some wonderful people who attend my cooking classes, and we've created like a little community. And we're always so excited when someone new joins the cooking classes. And we have, my students have so much information to share too. And it's so wonderful when we get together. So please come to an upcoming cooking class. I would love to see you in an upcoming cooking class. Okay, let's get back to the cookies. So we've done the wet part. That's in the food processor. Get a big mixing bowl. I like to use big mixing bowls so you don't have to worry about the ingredients falling out of the mixing bowl or anything like that. All right, let's see here. We have 1.5 cups of organic rolled oats. Another food that it's very, very important that you get organic. Because unfortunately, if your rolled oats are not organic, they could be spraying glyphosate on the rolled oats as a drying agent. Yes, can you believe this? If your grains are not organic, they could be, not necessarily they are, but many are. To get the whole grains dry enough to package them, they're trying to dry them quicker, and they found out if they spray them with the toxic chemical glyphosate, it dries quicker. I don't know about you, but I don't want glyphosate in my food. That's why I eat all organic. So get organic rolled oats, okay? 1.5 cups. There you go. We're going to put a pinch of sea salt in there. Why are we doing that? Because we want to balance out the sweetness, we use a pinch of sea salt, okay? We are going to put 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds, 1/2 cup of organic raisins, because raisins are a dried fruit, just like the organic figs, right? And we're going to put 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts, your brain food. Walnuts, excellent brain food, right? We are going to put 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Those are going to be our spices for the cookie, okay? And last but not least, we're going to put flour in there. To make these cookies gluten-free, I am going to use an organic oat flour, okay? That also complements the rolled oats. So we have rolled oats, we have oat flour, so they go together. The taste is great. I have found that oat flour has a wonderful moisture content to it, right? So your cookies are not going to be dry, all right? Some of those other gluten-free flours, I'm not a fan of because your end product tends to be dry or gritty, and we don't want that, okay? So we're going to put 1.5 cups of oat flour in there, like so. So this is our dry ingredients. Let's just mix the dry ingredients together a little bit. We don't have to mix them a lot, just so that the cinnamon and the ginger and everything get mixed in there like so. Okay. And now we're going to take the pureed wet ingredients and mix it with the dry ingredients. All right. That's my spatula. Here it is. All right. So anybody who's tuned in live or anybody who's watching the recording, go ahead and leave some comments. What do you think of cookies? What do you think of cookies for breakfast? Of course, these are healthy cookies, so that's different than just going out and buying some packaged, refined, processed cookies. Don't eat those for breakfast. This, again, we have the rolled oats, which is our whole grain, our complex carbohydrate. That's going to give you energy. Your whole grains give you energy. We have figs, which are super high in fiber, also calcium and iron. Figs are an excellent source of iron. And we have, let's see, what else? The sunflower seeds, good quality fat. And seeds, nuts and seeds also give you energy. We have the walnuts, which are your excellent brain food. And of course, there's no refined sugar in this. We're using the healthy brown rice syrup, which will never spike your blood sugar level. That's why we can have these for breakfast, right? Now, I will tell you that these cookies are not as sweet as a lot of people are used to. And unfortunately, it might be because some people are consuming things like stevia or agave or monk fruit or something like that, which is 200 to 300 times sweeter than normal sugar. So they might think that something that has wonderful, healthy sweetness like raisins and figs and brown rice syrup, it may not taste as sweet to you at first. But I've had students that at first they taste the cookie and they think, oh, that's not sweet. But then they change their diet and they start getting rid of those intensely sweet foods that are not good for you. They start eating more complex carbohydrate, more whole grains, more vegetables. Their tastes change, your tastes change, and then you can properly taste things. And these cookies are plenty sweet enough then, plenty sweet. We live in a world that's addicted to sweet food, addicted to sugar, addicted to things that are sweet. That's why everybody loves things that are 200, 300 times sweeter than white sugar, right? Sweet, 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 sweet. But that has caused an epidemic of dis-ease in the body, okay? An epidemic of blood sugar issues, such as diabetes. But other chronic conditions also can arise from the overconsumption of really sweet things and sugary things and high fructose things. When you eat food that's really high in fructose, you run the risk of developing fatty liver and fatty liver disease, okay? A lot of people think that that's a disease of people who drink too much, and it quite possibly could be also. But we don't want to overwork our liver. We don't want to burden our liver with lots and lots of fructose and intensely sweet food, right? Which is, again, earlier I mentioned that agave and stevia and monk fruit, because they're so intensely sweet, they don't get digested in the normal digestive tract. They get digested in the liver. Can you see what happens there? Can you see how this damages the liver? Because the liver is not supposed to do that, all right? And so this is why, again, we want to stay away from those intensely sweet foods and concentrate on foods like this beautiful cookie with the figs and the raisins and the brown rice syrup. So as I've been talking, I've been mixing this. I think you can see now it's a beautiful, like, thick dough, like an oatmeal cookie dough. This is what it looks like, okay? Now we're going to sneak a taste of the dough, okay? Let's see here. Yum. Oh, that's really good. Really, really good. Oh, wow, is that good? So I know that you were told as a kid, and I was told as a kid too, don't eat cookie dough. But didn't we anyways? I know I did. My love of cooking started when I was very young, and I adore cooking. I've been cooking for a long time. This is why I have made this my career. But when I was a kid, excuse me, I'm eating that cookie dough. When I was a kid, I used to cook in the kitchen with my mom. And one of the first things that we did when we were young girls and everything is me and my sister would make Christmas cookies with mom in the kitchen. That started it. That really started my love of cooking. And I have to tell you too, my favorite dessert is cookies. Some people love pies and some people love cakes, and that's great and everything. But my favorite dessert is cookies. I've been a cookie person ever since I was a little girl. And maybe it has to do with the fact that I made cookies with my mom. And so there's a lot of love involved with the cookie process for me anyways. So I've been cooking for a long time. And I remember we weren't supposed to eat the cookie dough. But I always remember me and my sister would sneak and eat it anyways. And the reason why you probably shouldn't eat traditional cookie dough is because of the eggs. And then they didn't want you to eat the raw eggs, right? There's no eggs in here. But rolled oats and oat flour are a little hard to digest. So definitely easier on your digestive tract if you go ahead and bake the cookies before you do. But there's nothing wrong with tasting a little bit of the cookie dough. And when you taste a little bit of the cookie dough, then you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can proceed, or you kind of know what they're going to taste like when they come out of the oven. That's what I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. To cook the cookies, we're going to put them on cookie sheet and I got a piece of parchment paper here. Now I'm going to make big cookies. I'm going to use my big cookie scoop. Some people call it an ice cream scoop, I guess, muffin scoop. I've measured this many times, and this is 1/3 cup. Okay, if you want to know. So all my cookies are going to be the same size. They're going to be approximately this size. You can make smaller cookies if you want. It's up to you. You can make them whatever size you want. I take a bowl and I put water in the bowl. Like so. I dip the cookie scoop in the water. Should we get a close up here? Let me move the camera closer so you can see what I'm doing. See? Like so. And then I take the cookie dough, okay, and I push it into I even use my hand. Get a little bit of water on your hand. Just push it into the scoop. This will form it into a nice round cookie. And you just put it on here like so. Okay. Now, there's a difference. I want all my cookies to be the same size. So I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to push the cookie dough into the scoop like so. And that's going to get me a beautiful cookie. That is not the same thing as doing this, right? That's like super high. It's like piled on the cookie scoop. That's not the same size. So you want to just kind of compress it, push it in like so, and put it on the cookie sheet. Now, these cookies, because of all the high fiber and the dried fruit and everything, they're not gonna spread out as they cook. So I take my hand and I push them down like this. Just wet your hand and just push them down like this to make a nice round cookie. All right. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You want your oven to be at 350 degrees when you put the cookies in, okay? And then the big cookies like this take 30 minutes to cook because they have so much richness and rolled oats. Now, if you made smaller cookies, check them after 20 minutes. Okay, the larger cookies take longer. So these larger cookies are going to take 30 minutes to cook, just so you know. All right. All right, we're going to pretend like we put those in the oven. Obviously, I have some cookies done to show you what the finished product looks like. Okay. But I have some updates for you. So if you have been following me and you tune into my live streams or you've been subscribed to my Substack blog and everything else, you know that I share healthy food information because that's what I'm all about, organic food. But I also am concerned about other issues also that I like to spread the word about. And one of those is the beautiful Porcupine Mountains here in the state of Michigan. All right. So I live in the lower Michigan, and we have what's called the upper peninsula of Michigan, which is, to me, the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life, and I love it up there. So I go up there all the time. I've been vacationing up there my whole life, and we have this beautiful state park called the Porcupine Mountains State Park. Yes, there are mountains in the state of Michigan. They're smaller mountains because they're very, very old mountains that have eroded down, but they're gorgeous, okay? Now, the Porcupine Mountain State Park was voted the most beautiful state park in the United States in 2023, okay? That's how beautiful it is. They want to put a mine right next to the Porcupine Mountains. This mine would be right next to Lake Superior with the possibility of contaminating one of the largest Great Lakes, the fresh water supply that we have on the planet, Lake Superior. They've already gone in and clear cut the forest to prepare for this, and they haven't even gotten approved yet. All right. And I have shared a lot about this. There's a petition on Protect Your Porky's website. You can sign that petition saying, I don't want this mine put in right next to the beautiful Porcupine Mountain State Park. Doesn't matter if you live in Michigan or you don't live in Michigan, because people come from all over the world and visit the Porcupine Mountains State Park. It's world known around the world. And so a lot of people go vacation there. So it doesn't matter if you live in Michigan or not, you can sign this petition. So please, please go there, all right, and sign this petition. I'm going to screen share one more time here and go to protecttheporkies.com. That's also in the description underneath this video on YouTube, protecttheporkies.com. This guy, Tom, and I met Tom in August when I was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and he took me to where the proposed mine site is going to be put in. But Tom created this whole website. He created the whole movement called Protect the Porkies to protect this beautiful, pristine wilderness out there. We don't want it ruined by this mine site, okay? So there's a petition right there. Sign the petition. Lots of information on this website. Graphs that will show you what it will look like, things like that. Now, what happened recently? You have to know what's happening recently. This was September 19th. I wrote this down, September 19th. The Gogebic County Commissioner. Gogebic is a county in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. They voted to send a letter to the senators here in Michigan to reintroduce the proposal to give $50 million to the Copperwood mine. Okay. So earlier this year, it was proposed that Michigan give a $50 million grant to Copperwood. Copperwood is the mining company from Canada that wants to come in and ruin the wilderness with this mine. So $50 million of our tax-paying money. I don't want to go to this. I have no choice. They wanted to give this grant. Well, just like a couple months ago, they voted it down. The senators, they didn't get rid of it, but they said, we're not going to deal with this. We're going to push it forward to like next year or something like that. So it wasn't on the table anymore. That was a really good sign. We were all happy about that. But on September 19th, the Gogebic County Commission voted to send a letter to senators to reintroduce this proposal to give $50 million to the Copperwood mine. Go to Protect Your Porkies, and here's what you need to do. It's right here. Urgent action. Tell the Senate to deny the bid to fund Copperwood with $50 million in taxpayer revenue. The proposed grant stalled in the Michigan Senate and was not included in the 2025 budget, but now forces are at work to see the grant reintroduced. Okay, here you go. Full details here. And all you have to do is, I went and I already did it. You just, there's a fax action form right here. It takes 5 minutes. You go, you fill out your name, and you tell them, no, that now this is for Michigan people because this is our taxpayer money. So if you're listening to me, you're in Michigan, fill out this form. Tell them you don't want your $50 million, taxes going to this. Okay. Very important. So here's, like, again, on the website, there's so much information. This is a video that could be what could happen if the mine goes in and all the waste rock and everything collapses, which many mine sites it has. This is how close it is to Lake Superior. Here's Lake Superior. This would be the closest mine site to a Great Lakes in history ever. Okay. Here's a map right here. And here's the Porcupine Mountains State Park, which we all love. And here's where they're proposing the mine site. Okay. It's right next to the North County hiking trail, which I was on in August. It's beautiful, pristine hiking trail that goes all through the forest. I can't remember. It runs through many states, the North County hiking trail. And this mine site would be right next to that hiking trail too. It's just a bad idea. Bad idea. So go here, look at it. Now, I like the audio. I like the videos. Excuse me. I like the videos. They've put together some really good videos that will explain to you what's happening. All right. And explain to you what's going on, and you really need to get involved here. I'm just hoping that getting the word out that people will see what's going on. And I stopped screen sharing. Here I am back again. And I also wrote a blog about the proposed mine site because I was there in August. This is my latest blog about sugar. How can I get to my other? Let's see. Protect the Porkies, up close and personal. Here it is. Protect the Porkies, up close and personal. View post. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I wrote. This is the devastation. They've cleared all this area here, and they've created these huge culverts where they think they're going to reroute the natural flow of water. It's just very, very sad. That's me with Tom, guy who runs Protect the Porkies. We went out there, and he showed me this area. Here's the beautiful hiking trail. Unbeknownst to us, just over here in the forest is where all the destruction is. That's the gate that will take you there. And then all of this horribleness where it's all been cut, and it's just down here. There's huge clearing of the beautiful forest and the trees. All this has been cleared. It's just... So there's more information on my Substack blog also. Now, they did a water walk that was very successful on September 14th. The local native people walked and they carried water. It was a sacred ceremony to help protect and save Lake Superior so that this mine doesn't go in. This is vacation. This is one of the beautiful waterfalls there in the Porcupine Mountains that's right next to where the proposed mine site is. Yeah, so that's what's going on. I appreciate everybody hearing about the Porcupine Mountains and taking up and it's very, very, we have some positive progress. Many people have signed the petition, which is excellent. Just excellent to hear. All right. Okay. So thank you so much. Really appreciate everybody who's tuned in, everybody who watches this video. Remember to interact with the video to get the algorithms up. Hit the like button, leave a comment, ask a question, anything. Share, anything really helps, okay? All right, so we pretend that the cookies have baked in the oven now for a half hour, and here's the finished product. Here are the fig oat breakfast cookies. Now, I know we all live a busy life, right? One of the reasons why I think many of my students and everything like these as their breakfast is because they can take it with them. Because you can just, hold it in your hand. You can eat it. It's a to-go breakfast. So you can wrap the cookies, take it with you. I do that all the time. Let's break one in half and see what the middle is nice and, I just put more of it in my mouth. Nice and chewy, moist pumpkin, raisins, figs, rolled oats. Yum. I was chewing, sorry. Yum. Very good. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, share. Go to my website, macroval.com. Sign up and attend next Wednesday's cooking class, where I'm going to teach you how to make this delicious millet, chickpea, green bean salad with tahini dressing. You can eat it warm or cold. And there's another recipe. There's 2 recipes next Wednesday in the cooking class featuring the whole grain millet and chickpeas. And your body will love you for it. Start eating healthy, whole foods, have lots of energy, lots of strength, have a positive attitude, feel better. That's what it's all about. I am Chef Val, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, get in the kitchen,